When we factorize expressions, we can take out the highest common factor between the two terms, and this highest common factor could just be a number. Like here, the highest common factor is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we can factorize that out, and we've done that before. The highest common factor could be a pronumeral or a variable. So here we've got x squared, which is x times x, and 5 is times x as well. So they're both multiplied by x, so we can take the x out and multiply that by the remaining x plus 5. So we can factor out the pronumeral. Or it could actually be a product of both the Reno. So here we've got 2x squared. So that is to say 2 times x plus 10 times x. So we've got x's in both of them, so that's why x is part of it, but also 2. Remember, 2 is a factor of both 2 and 10. So we can factor out and make 2x our highest common factor. Crazy. A factorized expression can be checked by expansion. So did we do it right? We'll take 2x times x, 2x times 5, and if we get back to the original, then we've done it right. So let's put it into practice. The highest common factor between 6 and 8. Well, the highest common factor of 6 and 8 is, what is it? Let's see, we've got 2. I think that's the highest we can go. So the highest common factor of these two is 2. And don't forget, we also have an a in both of these. So the highest common factor of 6a and 8ab is actually 2 times a, or 2a. That is the factor. So if we were to expand that, we'd put 2a on the outside, and then inside we would put, what's left, 3. And if it was a plus, 2 times 4b. And we'd work it out and just check. 2a times 3 should give us 6a, plus 2a times 4b should give us 8ab. We don't need to do that, we just need to figure out that it's 2a. Now, we want to find out the highest common factor of these two. We've got a 3 and a 6, and we know that the highest common factor of 3 and 6 is 3. Because 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2. And we also know that we've got x's in here. There's 1x here, and there's x times x here. So the highest common factor of 3x squared and 6xy is going to be that number factor times the x that's common to both of them. Now we're going to factorize the following. So this one, we've got 40 minus 16b. So we're going to look and find that the highest common factor, there's no b next to the 40 or any other pronumeral, so that b is just going to stay where it is. But I'm just going to put it over here. The highest common factor of the numbers 40 and 16 is, what is it? It's 8, isn't it? It's 8. So if the highest common factor there is 8, we put 8 on the outside, and inside the brackets, remember we're going to keep that sign in the middle, 8 times what will give us 45. So 8 times 5 would give us 40, and then 8 times what will give us negative 16b. It's 2, isn't it? So minus 2b, or times negative 2b, that's going to be our factorized version of 40 minus 16b. And now, as we've had before, this one's a little bit tricky. We've got x squared and x. So our highest common factor between 8 and 12 is going to be 4. So that's the numbers, but then we also have, remember, x squared is x times x. So we've got an x in there that we can factor out of this equation. And there's 2 ways we can do it. Okay, so if we choose 4x as our factor, as our highest common factor, we can do 4x times what is going to give us negative 8x. I think it would be x squared, rather, negative 2x. Right, because that's negative. And then we're going to figure out how we can get to negative 12x. We've already got an x out there, so we're going to go minus 3. And if we check it, 4 times negative 2x is negative 8x squared. Sorry, 4x times negative 2x, and 4x times negative 3 is going to give us negative 12x. The other way to think about it is, it could be 4x, or it could be negative 4x. Would it still work? Let's see. If I decide that I want to put negative 4x on the outside, whatever I put on the inside, I'm going to have to multiply it together when I expand this to end up back at negative 8x squared minus 12x. So it'll end up looking just the opposite, because negative 4x times 2x is going to give me that negative x squared. Still works. And on the inside, I'm going to have something times 3. But if I want this to be a negative x, negative 12x, then I'm going to actually put plus 3 in there, because negative 4x times 3 is going to give us that negative 12x. Pretty coolio. And finally, when we factorize these, the highest common factor, oddly enough, 3 times x plus y, plus 8 times x plus y, the highest common factor is x plus y. It's common to both of them. So we're going to stick x plus y out to the front, and then we're gonna factor out what we have left, times 3 plus x. Is that crazy? It's crazy. It still absolutely works, because we've taken the common factor, they're both being multiplied by x plus y, and then x plus y is being multiplied by 3, and we could expand it if we wanted to, and then x plus y is being multiplied by x. So that's very sloppy, but that says x plus y. Same dealie over here. The highest common factor is actually going to be the binomial 7 minus 2x. And the way we write it out is, don't forget here, we've got first our highest common factor. They both are being multiplied by 7 minus 2x. But here we have a minus x, so we're going to have something minus x. And what are we going to have in the first place? Remember, we have how many 7 minus 2x is there? 1. There's an invisible 1 in there. So we expand that one out to be 7 minus 2x is our highest common factor times 1 minus x. Love it.